What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Will back with another video, and today, we get to discuss and bring up a couple of different interesting topics. So, I dropped a video Tuesday about the Cleveland Browns dominating the Philadelphia Eagles. I got a lot of mad Eagles fans in my mentions. I got a lot of y'all commenting saying, "Oh, they didn't dominate," and your QB this and la la la. So we're gonna just discuss and talk about that. We also gonna bring up and discuss Deshaun Watson calling cap on whatever bro name was. We're gonna give a real hot take and opinion on that. And then last but not least, we're gonna get into everything else as far as with camp and how certain stuff will go. First thing first, let's discuss this Deshaun Watson situation. I want to get you guys' opinion on it. It's a very touchy topic because we have dealt with this before with Baker Mayfield. We're in a different time and a different generation now where social media is kind of bigger. It kind of gives me and kills me when people say like they would have never, Jordan would have never responded to somebody on Twitter. Like, bro, you don't know. I feel like now with the generation we are in, some of the older generations, like before this prior generation that came up, like this 1997 to 2003 group of people, we could even maybe say 1996 to 2003, like that little group of people that's now professional quarterbacks in the NFL. The way they carry themselves and they go about things is a little differently than the way they was brought up, because they were brought up on social media. So it's a lot different, so older guys and people in general just don't like seeing your star quarterback be on Twitter adding people. Now, there's a couple of the things that I want to mention. First thing first, let's just all be really serious about the Deshaun Watson situation. Deshaun hasn't allowed people to be on his Twitter at all. For obvious reasons, Twitter's a bad place. People add and say dumb stuff all the time, especially to him. So it's probably best for his mental health. He recently went and unlocked his, not unlocked, but made his Twitter public. Because I remember I was in his request, and then I don't know if maybe he just accepted my request or if he just made Twitter public. But pretty sure he made his Twitter public, and then he went out and he went on his way to go ahead and, with doing that, allowing people to see what he's talking about and what he's tweeting. So day 2 of the training camp, the Eagles reporter said that Watson threw 3 picks. In total, he threw 2 picks on day 2, 1 on day 1, and Watson pretty much called cap. Now, the reporter was going off of day 1 stats where he said he didn't see a large portion of what Deshaun did in day 1. So I feel like that's a lot of sway. And then it was just a good way to get the media talking and kind of bash him, feeling like that he's a bad quarterback because he threw 3 picks in practice. Let's just talk about the practice thing in general. I feel like it's completely delusional and just not simply smart to go over here and complain about what a guy's doing in practice when we don't know what he's working on. We don't know what Stefanski's asking him to do. We don't know what him and the receiver are practicing. We don't know what the defense is practicing. We don't know. If he wanted to do checkdowns in practice, I'm pretty sure Pro Bowl star quarterback Deshaun Watson can throw checkdowns all day long in 11-on-11 in practice. He's not doing that because it's not a game. That's the difference. It's not a football game. It's not a football game. So for people that's going to be hypercritical and like you're just looking for something to bash on the guy, and when it's people that's neutral, I'm pretty neutral when it comes to the extracurricular stuff that people like to bring up with him. I'm pretty neutral on it. But when I see people that's like literally like we're talking about practice, that's what we're doing right now. Like now you're being spiteful. Let's call it what it is. You don't like the guy. You see or hear something bad about the guy, and you run with it. Just for example, what Joy Taylor did. Like you run with it. You don't like the guy. You hear something bad, so let's kill him. That's what they do. So as fans, we got to stop overreacting to every damn thing we hear, because we're gonna have these clashes and these wars every week. Every time the guy misses a pass, we're going to have like unseen and unheard of like uproars. Like Joe Burrow just didn't throw 4 picks against Pittsburgh last year. You don't see the Bengals fans over here about to kill each other over it. Like, come on, man. Like, as a unit and as a fan base, we gotta be less toxic, man. Like, we gotta start calling stuff for what it is. People don't like this guy for whatever reason. And my thing with the whole not liking him for the morally correct thing to do, you can't say you dislike Deshaun Watson and also cheer for Big Ben as he walking off the field. You can't say you dislike Deshaun Watson and also like Alvin Kamara or Tyreek Hill or Joe Mixon. So let's be fair here and let's call it what it is, and it's obvious what's going on. And let's not be over dramatic about every little thing we hear, especially in practice, bro. And all right, now let's get into the Deshaun Watson. I don't necessarily want Watson responding back to guys on Twitter unless it's going to make him go out there and throw for 4,000. If he's throwing for 4,000 yards, respond. Throw a little salt on there while you at it. No big deal to me as long as we're winning football games. I think that's all what this comes down to. People had a problem with Baker being fiery and Baker being rah-rah and Baker, being motor mouth when we started losing football games. But when we was winning football games, everybody loved Baker being his cocky self. Everybody loved Baker being aggressive, being an underdog. Everybody loved him. But when we started losing football games, that's when that shit became annoying. And because we haven't won football games yet, and everybody all up in arms about this whole Deshaun Watson trade, the best thing he should do is just be quiet until we start winning football games. Then start talking your ish, man. Stop talking. Start talking. But then a lot of people gonna say, oh, he's only it's gonna be a backlash regardless. But at the end of the day, I just want people to keep and stay where they at. If you don't like bro because he's morally this, when a guy on your team or a guy in general, has a case or has something that pops up, treat him the same way across the board. Because if this was the case, Kobe Bryant, we don't talk about that. Ben Roethlisberger, we don't talk about that. But y'all kill this man. Jerry Jones, all of these other owners. Like, let's all I'm asking, and I don't have opinion on none of it because I don't honestly know what happened. I wasn't there, so I have no comment on it. That's just my opinion. But I just don't like when people like dislike a guy, but then cheer. That's like, it's hypocritical. That's all I'm saying. And I wish all of y'all can have your own opinion and stay with y'all own opinion, But at the end of the day, we got to understand everything that happens that's not on film, we don't know. We're reacting to reactions from a different reporter. On top of that, we just watched this man go out there and single-handedly pick apart the Commanders, and nobody complains. So now that we hear a bad one-day practice, everybody's up in arms and wants DTR to start and shit. Like, come on, man. Like, this is toxic. We shouldn't have to act like this as fan bases. We shouldn't have to have Deshaun Watson's trainer, Quincy Avery, come on Twitter and explain to us how in practice it's no winners and losers and they're trying different stuff. Like, we shouldn't have to do that, But it's the state we're in. I don't blame anybody. Look what we have dealt with for the last 10 years here. 10 years is as long as I can remember, so I can only imagine some of y'all that's been fans for 45 plus years. And I got great respect for you guys. As far as me, you guys got some little backlash about me putting the Browns dominated the Eagles, but they did. I got some upset Eagles fans about it, but they dominated y'all. Why are y'all upset about that? Y'all lost day one. I'm allowed to talk my shit about my team, so I'm gonna always do that. So I can't wait for we to actually get in here and get into other teams coming and talking to me, because I have very fun responding to some of y'all Eagles fans. They probably not gonna watch this video, but still, nonetheless, you guys comment down below how y'all feel about Deshaun Watson pretty much reacting to Twitter. I feel like it shows, I don't think people are going to say it shows insecurity and blah, but he had all the time in the world last year to react to stuff. I feel like it shows a lot now that he's coming out and being more social on social media, interacting and talking to more people, allowing himself to be open to the criticism. So I feel like that's very good. I feel like that shows strength and him growing and being able to get over everything that he's dealing with mentally. So that's my opinion on it. You guys comment down below how y'all feel. I know this is all a very, not a touchy subject, but you know, we had this with Baker and it didn't turn out well. So everybody's kind of like, we don't want that. But Lamar Jackson replies to guys on Twitter all the time. So nonetheless, this your boy Will, man. You guys have a blessed and wonderful day. My next video should be about who should make this team at the wide receiver position after Mr. Watkins has just absolutely showed out and made this a very tough decision for the Browns. But y'all like, y'all subscribe, y'all comment. Remember, we doing a 1K giveaway. It's your boy Will. Comment dog on any video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, sub on here, of course. And I'm out. Peace.